Eve. Over here at DouglasHamp.com, you can check out the post that I wrote concerning faith. These are a lot of the verses that mean so much to me. I love to meditate on these. We've been going through these as devotionals. We're looking at Matthew 6:30 today. Now, if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? You know, we so often worry about those things that we need every day. Now, probably most of us are not concerned about our clothing. We probably have enough clothes in our closets because clothes are relatively cheap nowadays. I'm not saying that you can always get that $5,000 suit, but most of us can probably go down to Walmart or Kmart or someplace, Costco, and pick up a 10 or 15 or $20 pair of jeans without too much concern. So that really doesn't concern probably most of us Americans, that is, okay? Now I understand in other parts of the world, even your clothing can be a real challenge. I lived for a year in Bolivia. I worked with a school down there, and I also worked with orphans. And one day there was an orphan that came to us, and he literally had no clothes. He came in his pajamas. And it just broke my heart to see that this boy only had pajamas. He had no actual clothes. And so I took it upon myself to go down to the market to just buy some basic clothing. I mean, it was cheap. It was still very cheap, but he didn't even have that. It was, it's really cheap for me as an American. Not that I was rich back then, but it was probably very, very affordable even for the Bolivians. But still, here was a kid that didn't have any clothing. So for some people, the very clothing that they have is very much a concern. But speaking to probably most of us Americans and people from the first world, we don't generally worry about, man, I don't have any clothes. We might say I don't have any clothes, right? But what we mean is, I wore that thing, yesterday. I wore the same shirts all last week, and I wish I had some new shirts, right? I have nothing to wear for the party. I mean, we kind of get into this weird thing of, I don't have enough new clothes, right? But what is Jesus actually saying? He says, look, God is going to take care of you. So whether it's your clothing, whether it's your rent payment, your rent or your mortgage or your car payment, whatever it is that you need. Like we all absolutely need clothing. We have to be uh, clothed in something. We can't just go around unless you live on a nudist colony. Not a good idea, and it doesn't work out too well anyway. But that's a different topic. So God will take care of you. And what does Jesus say? Oh, you of little faith. Oh, you of little faith. I think about that. Why does Jesus keep saying that? Because he's trying to tell us he is going to take care of us. And yet we quite often don't listen. We don't believe. If we're going to really believe God, it needs to be more than just our intellect. It needs to be more than just an affirmation. We sign on the line. Yeah, I believe that God did all these things. We need to then translate it into our own lives on a daily basis. That God will take care of me. He will take care of you. Why? Because he promised. Why? Because he's good. He really is good. He loves you. He cares about you. He will provide your clothing and then some. He'll provide everything you could possibly need. God bless you. Stay in the Word. Be encouraged. God loves you and he cares about you. Take care.